The idea is to tell you which books to refer, but at the same time, how you should refer to these books. You should be able to read in between the lines, keep your eyes and mind open, because there is an ancient traditional Sanskrit Rigvedic hymn which talks about Ana Badraho Kratavu Yantu Vishwataha. Let the noble thoughts come from all sides and embrace those noble thoughts. What about geography? Very important to understand. Please go through NCERTs from class 6th to 12th. There is also a book called Certificate Geography by G.C. Leong. So last time we discussed that a question on these scams were asked, but the question was Public Accounts Committee. What about geography? Since coal scam was in news, UPSC asked in which form coal is produced in this country. Now, do you have to look into all these resources that are available in this country and to understand in which form they are present in this country? No. Whatever is important in the news, whatever is making headlines and dominating the news debates, please focus on that and try and anticipate the kind of questions that can be asked. And that is your key to success. But after reading all these sources, including Environment, Science and Technology, India Yearbook, Economic Survey, here a newspaper, and in this case Hindu or Indian Express, you can choose either of the two. Hindu or Indian Express, any national Indian newspaper, if you call me, if you tell me, if you ask me, this is the Bible for your success. You skip newspaper, there is absolutely no chance. Never ever miss a newspaper, but read in between the lines. Once you read in between the lines, you will be able to answer all the questions that are asked in the examination. Because let's not forget, and please bear this in mind, whatever UPSC asked in examination, whatever and anything that they ask is entirely related to the important developments that are taking place in this country. Beyond that, UPSC does not touch any aspect. But after reading these sources, you will end up covering and answering close to, let's say on an average, 60 correct questions. So clearly, 60 correct questions you're answering, because if you're following all these sources and you are true to your potential, true to your goal and dream, correct questions. But the cutoff is in the range of, now that the CSAT is qualifying, 120 to 130. So clearly 60 correct questions is not a safe bet, considering the fact that there is a negative marking. For each wrong answer, 0.67 marks will be deducted. So what is the solution here? The solution here is this. There are 100 questions in GS, but there will be 10 to 12 questions which no one can answer. But when you look at previous year's question papers and find out about such questions, you prepare as if these questions are a standard. Please don't even prepare for such types of questions. Questions such as, which of the following species have been declared as endangered species? You cannot memorize all these species. Even if you attempt at memorizing these species, you will lose. This is not going to be your agenda. Similarly, there are very difficult questions from art and culture which you might have never even heard of. So please don't even attempt memorizing or answering these questions, because these are very difficult questions that UPSC asked. Don't even attempt them. So the smart, intelligent strategy shall be, number one, to skip these questions, but focus on the other 88 to 90 questions. Assuming that you have followed the strategy religiously, you'll be able to answer 60 questions that I've told you. But that's not enough. Now you have to make intelligent guesses. For example, a statement is given, 4 statements are given, and at the end options are also provided, A, B, C, D. The options are only one and two, only 1 and 3, only 1, 2 and 4. These are the 4 statements that are given to you. These 4 statements are followed by 4 options. But if you are preparing for civil service examinations, you will be able to at least understand and know that one of these statements is incorrect. So let us say statement 2 is incorrect, which you know because you have read about this. But what about statement 1, 3 and 4? You don't know about that. So normally what aspirants do, they skip this question and move on to something else. Ultimately, they lose 2 marks. Once you have figured out that statement 2 is incorrect, the question is asking which of the above statements are correct. You have eliminated second statement. And based on that, you have eliminated option B as well as option D. Because 2 is present in option D as well as option B. Now, the choice is between A and C. That means there is 50-50% chance of your answer being either correct or incorrect. But let's not forget, statistics is an established science. If you're able to answer this question, assuming that you have answered 28 questions like that, there is 50-50% chance of it being correct or wrong. Assume that 14 questions are correct and 14 questions are incorrect. You had previously attempted 60 questions. 60 questions will give you 120 marks. 120 marks is not a guarantee to success because the cutoff is in the range of above 130 now, because many people are now studying and studying very religiously. 14 questions you are attempting, 14 into 2 becomes 28. But there is also negative marking. So 14 into 0.67 becomes something like 9.38. That means 28 minus 9.38 will give you 18.62 marks. Plus 120, it gives you 138. And 138 is the safest score that you can score to qualify for the mains examination. So the idea is, yes, you have to focus more on GS rather than CSAT because CSAT is qualifying in nature. But in GS, what should be your focus area? The focus area should be on 4 indispensables. What are these 4 indispensables? Polity, history with particular focus on art and culture, economy and geography, followed by environment, science and technology, India yearbook, and the other important current affairs issues. But even after reading all these sources, memorizing everything at your disposal, you will not be able to answer more than 60 questions. But 60 questions is not a safe thing. Then you will have to make intelligent guesses, not wild guesses, intelligent guesses. And once you make intelligent guesses, statistics tell us if you follow a pattern, you'll be able to score more than 50% of what you have attempted, and you can easily cross the hurdle of 130 marks. That means smart work rather than hard work is what is the focus area. So this is what you have to do for prelims. What about mains? For further exclusive details on how to prepare for GS1, 2, 3, and 4, we have released YouTube videos on their strategies. So please go through them once and you will understand how to proceed in all these 4 subjects. But mains is all about convincing the examiner with your answers. Because you know what to study, you know what not to study, you know how to study, but it all boils down to how you're able to convince the examiner that you know the best about this question. Let's not forget, Close to 20 questions you'll have to answer in 2.5 hours. That means roughly 7 to 8 minutes per question. That means there is no time to think. But once there is no time to think, you should be able to anticipate what sort of questions are asked. If I can take you 2015, the website is scroll.in. The headline of this newspaper article, of this website article is, if whistleblowers bill is passed in the parliament, there will be no one left to be protected in India. May 25, this was the headline on scroll.in, and come December 2015, when you had the mains examination, exact replica of this headline was asked by UPSC. They did not even change the lines. They did not even change the language. That means whatever is important in the news, whatever is debated in print and television media, whatever dominates the headlines, link it please to your syllabus and you will be able to anticipate the questions that will be asked. There is no need to mug up everything that is mentioned in the syllabus. That is practically not possible if you're doing it at home. Similarly, last year a question was asked on Cuban Missile Crisis. Why? Unless and until you're able to understand why, it becomes very difficult to start your preparation. So why this question was asked? Because United States and Cuba were coming closer to each other. They were restarting their diplomatic relations. This made headlines throughout the world. Once this made headlines, this became dominant in newspaper discourses, and this question was asked in World History segment. That means current affairs here is the key to success. That means whatever is important in the news, link it to your syllabus to answer every question that is asked. So what have we learned today in this webinar? We have learned that joining a coaching class, the traditional coaching class, is not required to clear this exam. If you're dedicated towards this exam, your dedication alone can take you towards your goal. But the question that is frequently asked to us, should I prepare simultaneously for prelims and mains, or should I prepare first for prelims and then after qualifying prelims for mains? Mains is an ocean. Prelims is the surface of this ocean. You prepare for the depth of the ocean, the surface is already covered. That means what is important here? Whatever you think is important, whatever is dominated in the headlines of the newspapers and media, that becomes important. But prepare for mains, prepare in depth. Once you prepare in depth for mains, your prelims is automatically covered. So you don't have to separate the strategies for prelims and mains. Prepare for mains and your prelims is already covered. There is also a very important element, essay and an optional subject. You'll have to write essays on 2 topics that are provided to you in the examination. And this essay, again, the dominant themes are Gandhian philosophies. Mahatma Gandhi is the favorite of UPSC, and his quotes are frequently quoted in the essay topics, and you have to write on essays on the important quotes of Mahatma Gandhi. There is enough in this world for but not for every man's greed. This is what Mahatma Gandhi said. And this essay topic was asked by the UPSC. But then again, in essay, you have to structure it. So there has to be a well-defined introduction, a body, and a conclusion. Conclusion, you can put in your own words, your own ideology, your own convictions, but in body, you will have to take recourse to newspaper articles because you have to quote whatever is important in the news that is taking place, link it to the essay topic, and your essay will be well structured. And an optional subject, how you can choose an optional subject, we'll have a separate discussion on that. Here, the entire idea behind this webinar was to inculcate confidence in you, that without joining a traditional coaching class, you can clear this exam. This is doable. I'm not negating the coaching classes. No, they have their own plus points. They minimize your effort, but that does not mean coaching is a must. Please, please, please remember, point number one, there is competition, yes, but your competition is with your own self. Remember, only you have the power to defeat yourself, no one else. Second, if this is your dream, go for it. Civil service is the only career option where you can touch the lives of millions of people in one go. Which other profession, you tell me, has the power to touch the lives of millions of people in one go? Yes, politics has, but that's a tougher exam to crack than IAS. Third, we live in India, and Indians glorify successes. But how can you define success? What is the idea of success in Indian sense? The idea is power. The idea is prestige. In IAS, you get both, and that too in equal measure. So please understand, traditional coaching classes where you devote bulk of your time commuting from your home or office to a coaching class is a complete no-no. This is not required. Stay at your home. Don't quit your job. Without quitting your job and studying at home, you can still make it. Your conviction, your determination, your ideology will determine your success. Don't even get fed by these ideas that coaching is a must and going to Delhi is a prerequisite to qualify this exam. This is a myth that must be dispelled, and this myth must be burned and shown its place. You can do so. You can do so without quitting your job while sitting at home, but please understand there is a guidance required here, and that guidance is also a very important element for your success. For further details, if you are willing, we can have a one-to-one counseling session. After this webinar, I will give you a form. Please fill that form, and if you fill that form, then you and me will communicate over a phone and we discuss what exactly is required, how to proceed further, because in 40-50 minutes, we cannot talk about the entire picture. So let's schedule a counseling, one-to-one counseling with you, fill that form, and we can collaborate how to give wings to your dream. So in this webinar, I hope I'm able to assuage your concerns, because concern basically was, can I clear this exam without quitting my job, without joining a at home? Can I do that? Yes, you can do this. And let's not forget, Barack Obama also said, yes, we can, and so can you. Thank you for joining. And if you have any queries, I'll be here for another 15 minutes. Please write those queries, and I'll try and answer all those queries one by one. Thank you once again for joining. Thank you.